Hey everybody, what's going on? Helmite here, bringing you another video from Grab the Lantern today. Today's topic is going to be covering the recent revival of the LCS with the start of Season 7 Spring Split, and I kind of wanted to talk about champion diversity today, because I think it's really exciting what's happening this season, especially because of the new format. We have a lot more champion picks than we did before. I know that champ diversity is one of those things that is always a frequent pain point for the LCS and spectating in general, in that teams seem to only ever want to play about 24 champions and nothing else. Usually even less than that. Sometimes teams are basically identical in opposite rounds. I know there was a time where Rek'Sai and Gragas were the only junglers that got played, and it makes games super samey and just not interesting for the viewer. Now, with the new format and having 10 total bans, there have been a lot more picks, and part of that is because of how teams are doing their bans. Even with Camille, Rengar, and LeBlanc basically being perma-banned, you have a lot more champions getting played in general, and part of that is because of how the ban format works. So if you don't pick something like your AD carry or your support in the first phase of the draft, oftentimes you'll have two bans leveled against those that pool in the second phase of the bans. And what that means is that your pool gets super pinched. So I remember there was a game actually this weekend between Team Liquid and I believe it was Dignitas, where Dignitas banned out, they picked one AD carry and they banned out Varus and the Jhin, and they said, Piglet, what else can you play? There's nothing else for you, all the meta AD carries are gone, and Piglet had to bring out something else, so he played Twitch, and it ended up being a really cool pick to watch. It ended up working out really well for Team Liquid, they ended up winning that game, but it was really interesting to see how that worked. And I think in general, if you look at the sheer number of champions that have been played overall in the LCS so far, I think we're already up to something like 47 unique picks in Europe as a whole. And that's not even counting the last day. I did miss the last day when I was doing my stats, but I mean, 37 unique champions in Europe is really, really good. So, and I'm trying to bring up the NA stats right now, just about the same. So you have a lot more champions getting played, and I think that's a big deal for competitive League of Legends as a whole, because it means that you have a lot more champions being played, which means the viewers are more happy, which is always exciting. We like seeing weird, unique picks getting brought out, but at the same time, it's also better for pro play in general, because with more champions being viable, it means that you have a lot more strategies available to you. So teams can play a high damage comp, kind of like CLG did in their second set of the weekend. You also have teams who are capable of playing super tanky, conventional setups. Team Liquid, on that game I was talking about, they had the Twitch AD carry, Maokai top, Orianna mid, which is a very conventional team fight-oriented comp. I mean, it was really, really cool to watch, and you had a bunch of different comps showing up. Now, are things perfect? No, of course they're not. Right now, Rengar, Camille, and LeBlanc are permaban. They are 100% pick or ban thus far in both regions I watch, and I believe they're also 100% win rate. Actually, no, that's not correct. Rengar has lost games, but I believe LeBlanc and Camille are 100% win rate so far in both regions, and that's kind of crazy. That's some pretty ridiculous outliers. That's almost as bad as Season 6 Worlds, where you had to ban Darius, or not Darius, sorry, Mordekaiser and Gangplank if you were on red side. You absolutely had to, and that's kind of where we're at right now. And fortunately, they do have 2 more bans, so they don't completely lack a pick ban phase, but it is pretty ridiculous. The other thing is, even with those, obviously it's still week 1, so we'll see if the meta kind of stabilizes and the same picks start showing up in game after game. We'll see if that ends up happening as a result. But I think that, especially with the new format, it's a lot less likely to happen just because you do have more bans, and the way the draft is broken up, I feel like teams are going to be more interested in experimenting with different picks, especially given that it feels to me like a fundamental disconnect between playing utility carries but having to face hyper tanks, but that's a different subject for another day. Anyways, I just wanted to basically make this podcast to express my interest and excitement about this, and to kind of say, now is the time to experiment with things, especially in Ranked. There's a lot of new stuff that's going to be happening, and if we do end up getting 10 bans in Ranked, I think it's going to open up a lot more strategies and a lot more meta picks. Anyways, thank you guys so very much for watching. Go ahead and leave a comment on what you think of the new format and all the champ diversity currently in Ranked. I'd love to hear your guys' comments. And go ahead and hit that subscribe button, as it does help me in what I do. I upload a video just about every Monday and Friday, also on patch days, so that will probably be tomorrow. Anyways, once again, thank you guys so very much for watching, and I will talk to you all later.